Hi guys, Guy Diamond here with my partner. We are going to do a special Valentine's Day boyfriend tag question. Say hi, Austin Rhodes.
Hi everyone.
So I'm super excited to have him here with us today. It's going to be fun. We will be snacking. We have a makeshift charcuterie board today. We are working on Diamond Art Club's Space for Reflection by Chuck Pinson. Austin will be using his pen from Diamond Art Club, and I will be using my 2 pens from Diamond Art Club. So this one is the Lemon Lime. I think it's just called Lemon Lime. It's a beautiful glitter pen. And then we have matching Nebulous Swirl, Cosmic Swirl, something pens from Diamond Art Club. So those will be what we will be using, and I'm using my Diamond Art Club Clear Boat. And just some regular old pink wax. So that's all of the boring stuff for today. Give us a second just to each pick a color, and I'm going to have a piece of meat. Okay, so now that we're all started, I probably should have refilled my pens with wax before, but we're just going to go with it and see how far I get without refilling. So, for those new to my channel, I am a theater geek, so I do a lot of theater, although since COVID happened, I haven't done any theater, which is kind of sad. So my singing shower head is fabulous. And my partner is going to talk a little bit about himself right now before we start in on the questions.
So my name's Austin. I too am a theater person. I love directing children's theater. I'm currently a 3rd grade teacher. And yeah, I love music, love art. Started diamond painting with my partner here, and he kind of took off with it quite rapidly. And so I join in every now and then, so it's pretty fun. Born and raised here in the Southwest, and yeah. So now questions for you, Guy Diamond. We're gonna see what you know about our relationship.
This could get interesting, guys.
So, looking on here, number 1, the probably the most random one for us. How did we meet?
Well, that's a fun story. Grab your bowl of popcorn. So we met on Tinder. And talked for a week and a half before we decided to meet in person. It was kind of a spur moment first date. It was probably the most awkward first date in the history of first dates. It's a miracle that Austin continued to talk to me afterwards. So anyway, so we talked on Tinder for a couple days before we exchanged phone numbers, and then texted back and forth for a couple days, maybe had a phone call or two, then decided we were going to meet. So Austin got off work, came down, and I ordered us some Thai food, and we had dinner in the dining room of my apartment while my roommates were, one of my roommates was at the table with us. The other roommate was sitting over on the couch. She was being rude. Anyway, it was really weird and very awkward, very quiet. After we finished eating, we decided that we were going to go up to my bedroom and watch a movie. And I promise you that's exactly what happened. We watched a movie and just kind of talked and got to know each other a little bit more. And it was really nice. That being said, still kind of awkward. And yeah, so that's pretty much how we met. And then we decided we liked each other's company, and so one of us messaged the other the next day. I don't remember who messaged who after that awful date. But yeah, so that's how we met, and now we're a year and a half strong. So things are great.
It is. The one thing I remember the most from that is the movie that you picked.
I didn't pick a movie. I gave you options.
I don't remember that. Was the weirdest thing I had ever seen in my life. I don't even remember it fully. It had something to do with theater and LGBTQ, and
it was called The Big Gay Musical. It's a pretty good musical, actually. But I didn't pick it. I picked out like 3 or 4 things for you to pick from, and that's what you picked.
Okay.
So that's your fault. That being said, we didn't really pay attention to it because we were too busy talking to each other.
And I was so nervous. And I remember pretending to be so invested into the movie, but I was really shaking. Number 2 says, we're going out to eat. Where are we going?
That's a good question. We're probably going to argue about it for half an hour in the car. One of us is going to get super upset before any decision is actually made. But we'll probably end up at Olive Garden or Red Lobster. See where else do we eat?
I don't know. I think it's
Chipotle. Chipotle is probably one of the more popular options, or Taco Bell. I don't have Taco Bell where I live. The closest Taco Bell is about an hour away. Austin lives about an hour and 45 minutes away, and whatnot. So when I'm down with him, we go to Taco Bell or Chipotle. Most commonly, sometimes Sonic. But if we're having a nice night out, it's probably Olive Garden.
See, I think Guy Diamond here is actually just afraid to face the truth, because the actual answer to it is anytime we head into the city, there's always a stop at Chick-fil-A. So there's always Chick-fil-A nuggets, and if we've had too much Chick-fil-A, then there's going to be a stop to get a bucket of chicken nuggets at Wendy's, which is one of the best deals. Let's be real.
Well, yeah, you get 50 nuggets for $10.99. You can't complain.
This one's fun. Kind of goes off of a conversation we had with someone last night. What is a food that I do not like?
That's a lot of things. Food that Austin does not like. Austin does not like spaghetti. At all. Granted, I'm very similar. I try not to eat spaghetti. I just ate it too much growing up, and I'm tired of eating it in its traditional sense. However, if you fix it in another way, then I'll probably eat it like a nice baked spaghetti with more of like a mushroom cream sauce instead of a red sauce. I'm all about that life. But Austin does not like spaghetti. Or lasagna, which is very upsetting because lasagna is one of my favorite dishes. And I was really excited, and I was going to make him lasagna one day. And then he reminded me after I started that he doesn't like lasagna. So that's a thing.
But we still ate it.
But we still ate it. He sucked it up and swallowed his pride and had some anyway, and then told me how good it was. Proceeded to tell me how he still doesn't like lasagna.
And then one thing you do not like. I can't really think of a meal that you don't like, but mustard.
I do not like mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard it should be used as a seasoning, not a flavor, and a little bit can go a long way, and so if you overuse it, it's gross.
I don't know. What's another thing that you are not fond of eating?
Boiled green vegetables.
That's true, because you got burnt out on those.
Vegetables are not meant to be boiled. Because it just gets rid of all of the flavor, and then they're just mushy and gross.
That's true.
Anyway, next question.
Next one. How many brothers and sisters do I have?
You have 2 sisters and 1 brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Confused me for a second.
And both siblings have children, and all of them are fantastic people. Well, yeah, all of them are fantastic people. Well, you do have that one niece.
Yeah.
Who bashes everything and everyone when no one's around.
That's very true.
But she's still a good kid. She tries anyway.
And Guy has 2 sisters, both of which are married. One of which has children. Both of which have children? One of which has children.
Both have children.
Both have children. I have not met Guy's family yet, just because of distance.
I am not originally from the Southwest.
Yeah.
So, but that is where I live.
Well, that'll be good. Am I a morning person or a night person?
That depends on how you look at it. You're more of a morning person than I am.
That's very true.
But you're not really a morning person. You can easily stay up at night. You'd probably rather spend most of your time up at night, except for the fact that your job requires you to be up in the morning. But you can handle yourself way better in the morning than I can.
That's true. Not to expose Guy Diamond or anything. Guy Diamond has a personal coffee maker in his bedroom, because he has to have coffee immediately in the morning. Otherwise it turns into like a horror movie.
Austin will not let me have a coffee pot in the room at his house, so I have to not only get out of bed, but leave the room to get coffee when I'm there, which is highly unfortunate. But he's learned to make sure that we preset the coffee pot before bed, otherwise shit goes down.
That's true. It's true. You are definitely more a night person. But here lately, we've both, I don't know, ever since the pandemic, we both kind of turned into old men. And when we get sleepy, we get sleepy.
Yeah, depends on the day.
Number 6 is...
Oh, hold on. That one's too small. It has to go in the trash can.
Oh.
Okay.
If I was collecting anything, what would it be?
Completed diamond paintings. Because generally you like diamond painting, but you'd much rather have it already finished.
That's true.
Lumiere figurines. Dogs.
Well, yes, that sounds like I'm an animal hoarder, but no, anything dog related, I enjoy. I enjoy Lumiere stuff because of one time, one of my best roles I performed in theater was as Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast. It was a fun one, really good time in my life.
Trying to think of what else you collect. Techie stuff, microphones, monitors, all sorts of techie stuff. Austin is kind of a techie. He fixes all my technology issues because I suck at technology. Austin is also my video editor, so kudos to him for figuring out all the legalities of my videos and getting everything edited and posted and creating my intro and outro and all of that fun stuff. I need more of this color because I'm getting low. And that one's empty, so I can go back in.
And you would be collecting diamond paintings, very much so. But then also anything Phantom of the Opera. That seems to be a good collectible. And anything that sparkles, glittery, and every now and then a unicorn or two of something.
That's because I'm a fantastic, magical, glittery unicorn. I've also recently, I don't know if Austin remembers this or not, my mother and I had a conversation and whatnot, and about collectibles and things that I would collect, because she wants to start getting me something to collect, because I'm really bad at giving her gift ideas. So I decided that I'm going to collect grand pianos.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if I were to get like an actual, like, playable life-size grand piano and be able to collect those, that'd be great. Unfortunately, I don't have the room for that. So like grand piano ornaments or desk figurines and things like that is something I've just recently started collecting. So my mom got me my first grand piano ornament for my Christmas tree this year. And so that's still on my Christmas tree because I haven't taken it down.
Yeah.
Because I love Christmas. But so that's something else I collect. And I also collect movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bookshelf that does not hold all of my movies because it's clearly not big enough. Although it's a really tall 5-shelf bookcase, and each shelf is packed to the brim and has like 2 lines of movies on each thing. It's crazy. So I collect movies as well.
That's true. This is a good one. Do we have a song, and what is it?
We do have a song. It's Keeper of the Stars, done by Tracy Bird originally. The text of that song is just really meaningful. So Austin and I had a lot of mutual friends and mutual connections, and we knew a lot of the same people, but somehow never met.
Yeah.
For like years before we actually met. And I find it crazy that we met online when one of his former super close friends was one of my friend's super close friend's daughter. And whatnot. So like there's plenty of times that we could have met before, although interesting fact, I actually saw Austin perform before I met him and whatnot. But anyway, so it was, so Keeper of the Stars talks about how it wasn't an accident, us finding each other, and there was a plan before we met for us to be destined to be together, and we believe that's true, because we could have met at any given time, being that we knew a lot of the same people, but we didn't meet until both of us were ready to meet each other.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And it's an interesting song for us because neither one of us are really huge into country music. I probably a little bit more so than you. It's still a great genre, but it's not necessarily our first go-to. And so for it to be our song, it's kind of interesting. Ooh. Okay. This one might be kind of scary. What is my weirdest habit? I don't know if I can answer that on you.
I don't know if you have weird habits.
You probably make fun of my...
I mean, you have some colloquialisms that I just find weird, but I'm not from this area originally.
Which is the one that you always get me on?
Oh, might, could. it's kind of like a double negative. Like you might could do something.
I don't know. I might could.
It's just weird. You could do something. You might do something. You might could do something. Like I just don't understand it. It's like canceling out the fact that you could do it. Anyway, but I don't know if you have any weird habits. I can't think of any habits that you have that are weird.
For you, I can't really think of much. You tickle me a lot.
I do tickle you a lot.
Yeah.
But that's because you're not ticklish, and I want you to be ticklish, because I am very ticklish, and you accidentally tickle me all the time.
Yeah.
That diamond is too small, so it's going in the trash can. Okay.
What else do we have? What do you think I'm talented at?
Way more than you think you're talented at. I think Austin has an amazing singing voice. He's not like a pop star by far. He's not Lady Gaga or Beyonce or Britney or anything, but he has a very, very easy to listen to singing voice. So I think he's very talented in that aspect. He's a very talented actor. He is very talented at anything technological. He teaches, and he's, with all the remote teaching that he's been doing, he's gotten the hang of a lot of stuff with that, just getting the technology implemented to give his students the best experience they possibly can when remote or even in person. He implements a lot of the technological aspects into his classroom now that they're back in person, so that way they don't have to adjust to too much change when they do go back to remote and then back to in person. His school has been back and forth a lot. It's just the area cases seem to mellow out, and so they go back in person, and then out of nowhere things spike again, so they go back remote, and so it's crazy times that we're living in, but he is doing the best he can to make the most of the situation and give his students the best experience they can have.
Yeah. And then for you, I mean, goodness, it's easier to say what you're not talented at than everything that you are. Guy Diamond, goodness, he is such an amazing performer. He has a wonderful voice. He is a wonderful actor, a wonderful vocal coach, a vocal director. Goodness, anything to do with theater, Guy Diamond's pretty much awesome at. He's also a pretty good cook. Yeah, I don't know. You're just good at so many things. Who is my best friend? Now this gets tricky for the both of us because we're kind of reclusive-ish.
It depends on how you look at it. If you don't include me, because I'm pretty sure right now you consider me your best friend, but if you don't include me, since I am your partner, it would probably be it's hard to pick. You have two that it could be other than me. You have your best girlfriend and your best guy friend. Mm-hmm. So you have Shasta and Jacob, both of whom are very interesting people. And I like spending time with both of them, but neither of them are really around much right now. Shasta recently moved due to some crazy circumstances, and Jacob moved away a while ago. But we did get to go visit Jacob once, and I've spent some time with Shasta before she moved, so they're fun to be around. But I would say, other than me, they're probably your best friends, or your mom. You have a really good friendship with your mother.
Yeah,
She's pretty cool. most of the time.
And then for you, see, this is where the boyfriend struggle gets real. Because Guy Diamond has so many friends that are so close in the same name. But I would say right now, probably one of your closest friends is Kiersey, who is subscribed to the channel, by the way. Thanks, Kiersey. We like her a lot.
I can't wait for Erin to meet her. She is amazing and brilliant and wonderful. Also a very talented singer and musician. She's a really close friend from college. I was her maid of honor. Did some dress designing and building for her. I do costuming and such, but I also have built formal wear for her and a couple other people. I made my outfit for her wedding. She's pretty awesome.
Let's see. Let's go to a new category here. What toppings do I get on my pizza?
Chicken, white sauce, onion, mushrooms, sometimes, olives, all of the cheese, because we both love cheese. Speaking of cheese, the cheese is all behind you, and I do not approve, because I've been wanting cheese, but I've been answering questions, so I haven't asked for any. But now that we're talking about cheese, thank you for bringing the cheese into arm's reach. Let's see here, what other pizza toppings. It depends on the day and what we're getting. Sometimes green peppers, sometimes not. Sometimes spinach, sometimes not. But olives, chicken, mushrooms, and onion and cheese are probably the staples every time.
It's true. It all depends on how poor am I at the moment. For you, you just kind of like pizza. You have pepperoni. It's got to have bacon.
But bacon isn't a topping. Bacon is a seasoning.
Lots of cheese.
Yep.
Lots of cheese. Sometimes you'll do chicken. I want to say sometimes you do sausage.
In my opinion, the more meat, the better. I do not want a plain pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
But I do like pepperoni on my pizza with other meats. So like pepperoni and sausage, or like a meat lover's pizza. Generally, the more meat, the more cheese, the more I'm happy.
Who is one of my favorite musical artists?
That's really hard because they change all the
I
time.
do. I love music.
Currently, you listen to a lot of Ava Max. You don't really listen to a lot of The Weeknd. You listen to a lot of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. But you don't really have a favorite per se. Maybe Billie Eilish, or Cam. Cam is another interesting artist that we both like because she's more country than anything, but she has this aesthetic that we just can't stop listening to. So I'd probably say maybe Cam, Ava Max, but it really just depends on the day.
And this is where I really struggle with Guy Diamond, because most of the people he really enjoys are people that I don't know or performed a role once way up. You know, I can't stand Golden Age musicals. So anyone in that genre, I don't know. I could tell you if I could see Instagram.
That being said, I follow more people on Instagram than I'm actually fans of.
That's true.
On my personal Instagram, not Guy Diamond's Instagram. Guy Diamond's Instagram is like exclusively artists and diamond painting and stuff like that. That being said, I actually do not spend that much time on Instagram anyway. I'm not big on social media. I'm trying to be better, and so I'm way more active on my Guy Diamond Instagram as I am on my personal Instagram. I'm never on Facebook. Never. I have one, never on it. I think the last time I posted was when I graduated college. So, and that was over 4 years ago. So.
Goodness. I'm trying to think of a person.
Would you like help?
I would like help.
So, as a theater person, I'm in love with Sierra Bodges, who originated the role of Ariel on Broadway. She also was Christine in Phantom. She originated the role of Christine in Love Never Dies, the sequel to Phantom. Her voice is stunning. Jessica Vosk.
I do like that. That's one I can remember. She's a good one.
Yeah, she's another Broadway artist I like as far as female Broadway artists. When it comes to male Broadway artists, Ramin Karimloo, he is stunning in every way. He's a great performer. He has a phenomenal voice. He writes his own music as well as performing. He originated Phantom in the sequel, and he's played Phantom on Broadway. He's outstanding, and he's very handsome to boot. Trying to think of who else I listen to a lot. Carrie Hope Fletcher. I haven't recently discovered her. I've listened to her a lot in the past, but I've recently been hooked on listening to her. But yeah. Laura Osnes, she's beautiful, inside and out as a human being. Also, very beautiful voice. She originated the role of Cinderella on Broadway when it premiered in 2013. She's great, love her. I've watched her in every Hallmark movie she's been in on the Hallmark Channel, as well as watched several YouTube videos of her singing. If she's sang it, I've probably heard it.
Yeah. See, and I'm learning, guys, I promise. Like, I am a very big theater person, but I approach things more from a director standpoint. So I'm like all about the show and the writers and stuff like that. Half of those people I'm not sure who are. But I'm learning. It's getting better. Guy Diamond is broadening my horizons. If I won $1 million, what would I spend it on? Or what would I do with it?
You'd probably treat yourself to a vacation. You'd pay off all of your debt.
Ooh, too real.
Because student loans and car payments and things like that are very real, guys. We are real people. And we do have real debt. Let's see here, what else would you do? Depending on how much interest is gone up on everything by the time you pay things off, you'd take yourself on a vacation, hopefully take me with you, travel abroad when it's safe to do so, probably spoil me a little bit because you tend to really like to do that, and I don't know why. I always tell him that he doesn't need to, but he tries. Anyway, he just ignores everything I say, let's be real. Maybe get you a new computer, some new recording equipment, and if we're still lucky enough to have money left by the end of all of that, probably build a tiny house.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. I definitely, number one, would get rid of my debt. That's such a, like, being an adult is hard, y'all. Like, real talk with Guy Diamond. Um, but so I would get rid of all of my debt. I would also help my family and friends with their debt. I would love to travel. I really would love to go to Europe and just spend a month or so just backpacking, traveling. That would make me so happy. But I really would love to build a house. I'm very much into minimalism and living clean, stuff like that. So I have been obsessed with tiny houses for such a long time, which is why being with Guy Diamond is is interesting. Guy Diamond likes things, and so we need a whole separate house for diamond paintings. That's for sure.
Diamond painting and my music studio,
Yeah.
and it's not that I like things, but there are things that I don't want to get rid of. I just inherited a piano. I'm an avid seamster, so I need a place that I can sew and store all of my fabric to do so.
Yeah.
I need my craft space for diamond painting. I need a place where I can just go and teach voice lessons or do my own singing and recording and stuff like that. So it's not that I need things or want things. It's the fact that I already have things that I don't want to get rid of.
It's true.
I have an extensive music library. I have really old sheet music that I barely touch because it was printed back in the early 1900s, and I don't want to destroy it. And at some point, I'd like to get it all digitized and on a computer and then reprinted with copies that I would actually play off of. Since it's all out of copyright, I could legally do that. But so it's like things like that, and that it's not really worth a lot of monetary value to most people, but it's a lot of sentimental value. I spent years in high school and college collecting sheet music and things, and like I don't want to get rid of that. And I'm all about living as easily as possible, as green as possible, and trying to get things down where you're not taking 8 U-Hauls to move if and when you have to move. But there are things that I'm just not willing to get rid of.
No, and that's so true. You know, like music is such an important thing in both of our lives that clearly that's going to be at kind of the forefront of everything.
So we will live in a tiny house, but we will have a big shed or studio building on the property as well.
It's true. But I will say that the first time that Guy Diamond told me that he planned on collecting grand pianos, like, there was just a little bit of panic that set in. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's not going to fit in a tiny house. But that's
no
okay.
one has the budget to collect actual grand pianos or the space. They take up so much space. Although one day I do want to own a concert grand, which is not going to be able to fit in a tiny house at all. You could fit like a baby grand in a tiny house if you're lucky. If you don't have anything else.
Let's move on. This one I can't even remember. What was our first trip as a couple? Was it Albuquerque?
No, our first trip was camping.
Really?
Our first trip
that's
we
true.
went
Very early.
camping. So fun story.
That's true.
Grab your popcorn. So I'm friends with one of. I have several jobs. One of my jobs, I'm kind of friends with my boss. She's a great person. I was friends with her before I worked for her. I started working for her to help her out, and it's kind of saved me because it's been a huge source of my income, especially since I can't do theater right now. Anyway, so I was getting dinner and drinks with her after work one day, and she was meeting some of her friends, and they were planning this camping trip, and she invited me to go along. Well, Austin over here showed up. We had planned a date, and so I was just kind of killing time until he got in town. And so he ended up meeting us for drinks, and I had just finished eating, and don't remember what he and I were going to go do afterwards, but regardless, we were going to have a date afterwards. But before that, he got there and showed up to the restaurant and sat down with us, and my boss ended up inviting him along on the camping trip because she had already invited me, and I thought it was great. Now, usually, this would be like a great thing, inviting the boyfriend to go along camping with you, except for the fact that we had just met in person for the first time, not even a week prior. So, like, we barely know each other. Like, obviously, we've talked for a few weeks at this point, but we've only known each other in person for, like, less than a week. I think by the time we went camping, it was, like, a week. But it was, but then to my shock and amazement, Austin said yes, he would love to go camping. So we started planning this camping trip for a couple days later, and Austin told me he had a tent. I was all about, like, I have plenty of people that I'm friends with that would loan me a tent or camping gear that we would need, and everything. So I'm like, do you have a tent? And he's like, yep, I have one. Well, it turns out he didn't have one. So instead of letting me know that so I could go get one, he just went out and bought a tent. And so he spent, like, who knows how much money on, like, a tent and a sleeping bag and all this other stuff, because apparently all his old stuff wasn't good enough anymore.
No.
So he went, and I didn't find out until after the trip was over that he spent all this money, and I'm like, you should have just told me. Like, I had sleeping bags, I had all the stuff that we needed except a tent. So he certainly went the extra mile, which I greatly appreciated, but at the same time, I think he's insane for doing, because we only knew each other like a week.
That's true. I did go kind of wild with that one. To be fair, I did think I had a tent, I did thought I had a tent. It turned out it was my parents, and it had deteriorated. So yeah.
But now we invested in some more camping gear for my birthday, and so now we have a lot that's all stored, and it's stored well, so it won't go bad anytime soon.
I love camping.
Because we both greatly enjoy camping and being outdoors and spending time with the pups.
In fact, that was on a camping trip. Was when I first asked you to be my boyfriend.
Oh yeah, it was our first camping trip.
Camping trip. Yeah.
So a week into knowing each other, we started officially being exclusive, which is crazy but wonderful. Crazy. And and we've been through a lot together since then. And then we went camping for my birthday this past year. Spent 3 days with one of the pups out in the middle of nowhere. It was really great.
It was. If I could meet one YouTuber, who would it be? Ooh.
That's tricky because you have like 1,800,000 millions of people that you subscribe to.
I love YouTube.
In the crafting world, it would either be Miss Crochet and Coffee or Rachel Ray. Those are both people that you avidly follow in the diamond painting community. Not in the crafting world. Chris Ramsey, the puzzle guy. Or I don't know. There's just too many people that you follow for me to even keep track, let alone name them.
Right. Well, for you, hands down, Rachel Ray.
I would love to meet Rachel Ray. I would also like to meet Miss Crochet and Coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I watch YouTube as I'm creating and whatnot, I am starting to find more people that I very much enjoy their content and I would love to meet. Especially like my fellow musicians and my fellow theater nerds that are also diamond painters or crafters and things like that. So, but yeah.
I just love the community for diamond painting. I think it's so cool. But one of my favorite memories with all this YouTube stuff is, so I'm very much so a person that whenever I start a hobby, like I research it front and back all the way through. And during the pandemic, we had ordered my first diamond painting and it was taking forever to come in. And so of course I dove into YouTube watching all the creators and stuff. And I kept coming to Guy Diamond and be like, there's this girl named Rachel and she did this and this, and Rachel Ray says this and Rachel Ray says this. And then Guy Diamond kind of surpasses me here, starts messaging her on holidays, and they become kind of secret BFFs, and I'm just left out here in the dust. Just kidding.
Okay, just because I've messaged Rachel Ray a couple times does not mean we're BFFs. It would be awesome if we were.
That's true.
But yeah, but I would love to meet her.
Yeah, I would say probably the YouTuber that I would love to meet the most is GB ASMR. I love the ASMR community. It had such a stigma around it for such a long time, but now it's helped me through a lot of stress and anxiety, and it's just soothing. And I just like quiet. Sometimes Austin just needs some peace and quiet in his life, okay?
Or he needs some mic brushing. Okay, I'll stop rubbing the mic. I keep forgetting that we have food here.
Snacks. Snack break. Y'all, that's the other thing. We love snacks. Probably a little too much. This is a neat question. We've had some conversations about it. Am I comfortable with public displays of affection?
It depends on the public display of affection.
That's true. I mean, I don't want to swallow anyone's tonsils out in public, but I mean...
But a little peck is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Holding hands is fine. Hugging is great. But nothing too intimate.
That's just
in public.
In general.
But like the occasional kiss on the cheek or something like that is okay in Austin's book.
Mm-hmm. Which was big for me because I don't know, growing up, especially in a conservative area, it was always very different. And so with Guy Diamond, it was the first person I actually felt comfortable with, and the first person I kind of wanted to, show to the world and everything. So, no, I'm not going to be crazy about doing anything in public, but I certainly do love to hold a hand.
I'm over here. I definitely don't want to make out explicitly in public, but I definitely am proud to be with who I'm with. Mm-hmm. And so holding hands, kissing a little bit here and there, hugging, and stuff like that is all fair game in my book. Most of my previous relationships, none of them were big on even holding hands, and so I always felt like they were ashamed to be with me, and I never want anyone to ever feel like I'm ashamed to be with them. So,
yeah. What are we currently watching on Netflix?
That also depends on the day.
That's true.
Netflix specifically or streaming things in general?
Let's do streaming. That broadens a lot.
So on Netflix, we're currently watching Santa Clarita Diet because Drew Barrymore. Love her. We are also watching Encore on Disney Plus, which I've already watched, but Austin has wanted to start watching it, and I'm happy to rewatch it because it's been a while since I've watched it, and I'd like to rewatch it and learn more from it. After all, it is a theater show, so I'm all over that. Let's see here. I finished Gilmore Girls and Grace and Frankie personally recently. And now I'm on to personally binge watching America's Next Top Model. And let's see, what else do we watch? We watch MasterChef Junior because who doesn't love watching kids cook and get and watching Gordon Ramsay say things that somehow doesn't make them cry as much as you'd expect them to.
Right.
But yeah, so a lot of cooking shows. We generally watch a lot of cooking shows while we eat. And we watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTube.
Just recently, we kind of started getting into musical game shows of sorts, kind of like Name That Tune and...
what's the other one? Sing On?
Sing On.
Sing On.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We have a broad taste.
Supermarket Sweep is great for mindless diamond painting. I grew up watching that show with my mom, so the fact that it's on Netflix now is like so nostalgic, and it's fun to listen to, and sometimes I'll try and guess along, but even when I was growing up, a lot of those brand names that they had back then aren't the same as what the top brands are now. Some of them are the same though, but yeah.
What's my Starbucks order?
White chocolate mocha frappuccino.
Yeah, okay.
Unless it's fall, then he has to have one pumpkin spice latte.
Just one. You can't have more than one, because then, I don't know. But you gotta give in. Give in just once.
I can't even give in just once.
I have been doing fraps lately. I have been craving some sweetness. But typically, it's a toasted white chocolate mocha on ice. Yours, you do a lot of macchiatos.
Okay, can we just pause for a second? Can we talk about the fact that they got rid of the caramel cloud macchiato and didn't give me fair warning? Like, the caramel let me try that again. The caramel cloud macchiato was the shit. Like, who doesn't love a nice frost egg in there, like, mixture of egg white and milk to give it that super smooth, silky frothiness on top of your drink? Also, why could you only get it with the cold iced macchiato? Why couldn't you get it with the hot macchiato? Some of us like our frost egg. Anyway, so the fact that they got rid of the caramel cloud macchiato really pisses me off. But I can still get a caramel macchiato, so all is not lost.
That's true. I just recently kind of started getting back into coffee because you are so in-depth into it.
It's not my fault that I'm not a morning person. Look, people would die if I don't have my coffee. People almost died the day that I didn't have my coffee.
But it's funny because I used to work for a local coffee shop. It was one of my first jobs growing up outside of high school. And it just... I mean, it was fun. It was a great job. I loved it. But there was something about coffee, and especially steaming espressos, like it would just coat your skin and you would leave smelling like coffee. Which
what I would give to smell coffee like that every day.
Which, I mean, is okay. But I just remember every day I would step into the shower and it would smell like I just poured coffee all over me. And for some reason, that just turned me so against it. And I didn't have coffee forever after that.
Meanwhile, I almost got disowned from, or I should say not disowned, but banned from Austin's house when I bought him a coffee machine for when I stay the night. His mom was not a fan.
It's true.
At all. I got yelled at.
Ooh. If I'm getting nuggets, what sauces do I order?
It depends on what restaurant from. Chick-fil-A and Chick-fil-A sauce and Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A. Barbecue sauce from Wendy's. Barbecue sauce from most anywhere that's not Chick-fil-A.
That's true.
Occasionally, you might like a sweet and sour sauce. But generally, you tend to lean more towards the barbecues when it comes to nugs. Or plain nugs, no sauce.
That's true. I'm plain. But you give us some Chick-fil-A sauce or some polysexual sauce. Chef's kiss. It's some good stuff.
For those of you that didn't catch on, Austin likes to call the Polynesian sauce a polysexual sauce because that's what he read the first time he saw the label.
It is true. It is true. Some of these are repeat questions. What's my favorite time of year?
Winter because it's cold and you do not like the warm.
Oh, so true.
Fall because you like the colors.
Okay.
You like being outdoors, so you like the summer for the sake that it's easier to be outdoors, but you're not really a big fan of the warm.
Mm-mm. It's too hot. It's too hot. You enjoy some good old warmth. But depends on where you're at. If it's back east, then neither winter nor summer, because you're either dripping or frozen.
Yeah. Well, that's because humidity is a real thing, and humidity in the winter is not a fun thing. So East Coast humid winters, I should say Northeast humid winters, are not fun because with wind chill, it gets like negative degrees. It can be like 20 degrees outside, but with wind chill, because of the humidity, it gets down to like negative 20, and you feel like you walk outside and your face gets ripped off. But out here in the good old southwest of the states, it's really nice just about any time of year. It's never too hot. It's never too cold.
It's true. We're lucky to have all 4 seasons. Do I bite my nails?
No.
No.
Not
Do
really.
you? Yes.
Well, that's because I don't like using nail clippers because I always clip them too short. You don't bite your nails though, but you pick them. You pick at them.
I do. It's a nervous habit. Y'all, also, a fun tip. Hey, we just learned great stress relief is putting on fake nails and then ripping them off. That's probably not the best thing to do for your nails, but it keeps you from picking your nails.
It does keep you from picking your nails. I found that I can't pick my nails with acrylic nails on because they're harder to pick through. So I am slowly breaking that habit, which is great. That being said, it's a downside because it inhibits what I can do at my jobs, and it makes things a little bit more difficult because I haven't quite adjusted to the length of acrylic nails. But so I've got some new ones that are a little bit shorter that I found that I'm going to try to see if that helps. But it keeps me from picking my nails, and so I found that I don't touch my nails as much, but instead I'll just do that, the finger tap thing, to fidget instead of picking at my nails when I need to fidget.
Right. Now, I did it for the same reason. However, just with how crazy the world is and everything, stress has not been my friend. And whenever stress gets too much, suddenly I find myself ripping them off, which that's no good.
It's really not good
That's
for your
really
nail
not
beds.
good. That's really not. So we're going to have to find something else to fix me. But
I mean, you could always do what that one lady did, and instead of putting Gorilla Glue in your hair, you could put it on your nails, and then you wouldn't be able to rip them off. That being said, don't do that, guys. They already have to change the label on the Gorilla Glue to say don't put in your hair. Like, we don't need to say don't put it on your nails.
No.
Oh, did you hear about that? Who was I listening to that was updating the world on that? Stitcherista. Before she does her true crime, she was reading the latest news release on Gorilla Glue Girl.
Really? Well, see, I should do that also. I also have a borderline starting to become an addiction to TikTok. And that's where I found out about Gorilla Glue hair. TikTok's so good.
TikTok is okay. I do not have a TikTok. Austin does.
I do.
Austin watches almost as much TikTok as he does YouTube.
But I do not post.
Although he did make a really funny one. But we're not going to go into the details of that for safety reasons.
Oh, goodness. Let's just say I got in some trouble with the law. Some tires went flat.
But he promised he would never do it again.
Yeah.
Because that's a red flag.
To be continued. So for those of you, we probably just fast forward through this. Disaster has struck the Sparkle and Shine studio. We had a party foul with diamonds. So please excuse us during a brief intermission while we clean and get more snacks.
Thanks. And we're back. So sorry about that, guys. For you, I guess it probably wasn't that much time wasted, but it took me about 10 minutes to get all the drills that I just accidentally threw at myself when I was trying to put that last color I was working on away. So now we are going to get back to a few more questions and some more diamond painting.
Yeah, we're going to change gears here. So we've talked a lot about our relationship and stuff like that, because #Valentine's Day. But
which was yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
We were going to record this yesterday, and actually I think we were going to do this as a live yesterday, but I got really old really fast and became one of those people who apparently needed to go to bed at like 9. I don't know why. I had a lot of energy, and then it's like something happened and I hit a wall. So we ended up not doing this as a live last night, which is good because we didn't advertise it, so no one was disappointed for missing it. But so we decided to do this today since we didn't get to it yesterday. We also had... Yesterday was like a very interesting Valentine's Day. We had this cute romantic picnic date planned. We were going to go hiking in the snow up by the waterfall and whatnot and have our charcuterie board, makeshift charcuterie board, then and enjoy snacking up at the waterfall. But we drove out there in the snow because it started snowing really hard on our way out. It's about 20 minutes outside of town. So we get to the bottom of the pass and put our chains on because there was a state trooper, even though we probably didn't need our chains to go the last quarter of a mile from where the chain station is and whatnot. But we did because there was a state trooper there and we didn't want to get pulled over for not putting chains on. Anyway, but the parking lot to the waterfall trail was not plowed out from the snow we had gotten the night before, so like there was like a foot of snow, maybe even more out there. But so we couldn't do that, so we came back and ordered Chinese food for lunch. And then Austin made a lovely dinner for me and my housemate. and then we were chilling down there, and we were getting ready to chilling downstairs. We were getting ready to come upstairs and film this last night and potentially do it as a live, but I hit a wall and I just could not. I had no energy anymore. I didn't want to sit up. I just wanted to lay down and cuddle. So that's what we did. We cuddled and listened to YouTube and chilled. But anyway, so
with that, such a big thing of our relationship is musical theater. So I have some musical theater questions for you.
Oh, please don't be trivia because I'll
No,
fail.
not trivia.
Okay.
Easy. Plays or musicals?
Watching, directing, or performing.
Oh, goodness. Oh. So, Guy Diamond likes to overanalyze everything. Give me all three.
Okay. I prefer to watch both. I love watching both. I would rather direct a musical, and I would rather be in a musical because I feel I'm a much stronger singer than an actor. But I do love watching a good straight play, like Mousetrap or Lend Me a Tenor, like any of those classics. Streetcar Named Desire. I love a good straight play. But as far as performing is concerned, my passion lies in musical theater.
I will say pretty much same. I do enjoy musicals a lot more. I'm much more of a music person. I do enjoy a good straight play. Things like Laramie Project and Diary of Anna Frank. Like, those are all really good. But I'm much more into musicals. Which kind of leads into, when did you start liking the performing arts?
At a very young age. My mom would take me and my sister to a lot of the community theater productions back home. We had a couple different community theaters back home that were very prominent for a while, and then they slowly died out as directors moved and budgets got cut. The schools started doing less and less shows and stuff like that. But so at a very young age, I was very interested in watching the performing arts. I was an avid choir member in like kids choir and elementary school choir and stuff like that. I didn't really want to do theater as a career when I was younger. I wanted to be an artist like my grandpa. I wanted to paint and draw. But as I grew up and did more and more study, I realized that I could not paint or draw to save my life. Like, I can barely do a stick figure, guys. It's bad. But yeah, so that's a thing. So it wasn't until about 4th or 5th grade that I started really taking off with music. I started taking clarinet. I was taking piano. I picked up the oboe. Shortly after I learned the oboe, I learned the bassoon. Then I learned saxophone. Then I learned flute. Then when I was a percussionist for marching band, mallet percussionist for marching band, and just kind of took off with the whole music thing. Wanted to go to college to be a professional a musical theater actor, but ended up studying a lot more opera than musical theater, which is fine because opera's nice every once in a while. And then got an internship at a theater, worked at a theater as front of house staff and assistant costumer and some other more administrative jobs. And now I am the music director and artistic director for the community theater here. out near the Four Corners.
I did not join until a little bit later in life. I was very shy and reserved. I was much more into the painting side of everything. So the first time I was really kind of involved in theater was when I was in junior high. The high school was putting on Into the Woods and brought all of us in to do set painting and fell in love with it all. I remember going and watching the show almost every night it performed just to see the paintings, but then I kind of fell in love with the whole performing side of it. I always was somewhat of a performer. I loved putting on little shows for my parents and stuff. But as I started growing up, I stayed more in the tech side of things. I found a passion in lighting design. So I did lighting for musicals forever. And then finally, after college, there was a semi-professional community theater that I just really wanted to be a part of. And I kept applying to be their lighting designer over and over and over again. Never even got an interview. It was really hard to get in. And finally, I just got so frustrated that I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and audition just so I can be part of the show. And I fell in love with it from there. And I acted with that community theater for years, ended up becoming the vocal director, then music director, and then took over the directing of children's theater with it. All starting from a good old show named Grease. Oh, yeah. Have we ever been in a musical? Of course we have. What was the first musical you saw on Broadway?
Phantom of the Opera. I was 15 years old. I bought tickets for a close friend of mine for her birthday, and her parents drove us to the city, and we saw Phantom. I've seen Phantom in New York on Broadway 5 times. I've seen Wicked in New York, as well as Cinderella in New York, and then I've seen the Broadway tour of Cinderella, Wicked, and Les Mis.
Nice.
And Cats, which I love Cats. Cats is such a good show. It's so underrated.
Yeah. I will say, the first show I saw professionally was a tour of Cats. My sister took me to it for my birthday. Before I really knew much about musicals and whatnot, I remember it being one of the most terrifying things in my life. If you're going to take a kid to see a musical for the first time, don't take them to Cats, okay? That'll scar them. It's true.
If you say so.
It's true. All I remember is, number one, it was loud. I don't do loud sounds, but the lights went out, and suddenly there were these glow-in-the-dark cat eyes that popped up in the middle of the theater running up the stairs, and I thought I was gonna die. It was terrifying. But later on in life, I did learn to appreciate it. It's a really good show. If you could be... Oh, so this is kind of a twofer question. If you could be any female character in a musical, who would you be? And which male character would you be?
Female character. It would have to be either Elphaba in Wicked or Eve in Children of Eden.
Nice.
Those are probably the 2 top female roles I would want. As far as male roles, that gets a little bit trickier. There are so many good male roles. Finish that color. You started it.
You're in my zone.
Well, I'm going to start going around here after I finish this color. I just missed one. Male roles. I've always wanted to be Phantom in Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
I would kill for that role. I would also love to be the prince in the Broadway production of Cinderella. Pardon me while I eat some food. Snacks. Those are probably my top two. But I would be happy to be just about anything in any show. I just want to perform again so bad.
Right. My big thing, favorite, the female character I would want to be. I relate. I have such a love for the witch in Into the Woods. That resonates with me to my core. Male roles, I kind of got to play my favorite male role being Lumiere, but roles that I don't fit but would love to play is Pippin in Pippin and Joseph in Technicolor Dreamcoat. Those are both really good roles. I love those. Or Audrey too in Little Shop. I would like to play that.
I think you could pull that one off quite well.
Ooh, controversial. What is your favorite film adaptation of a musical?
Nothing in the past 10 years. Actually, nothing in the past, nothing recently.
Right.
I wish that they would put Broadway actors in film adaptations. Don't get me wrong, Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe are great actors, but I feel they could have had someone from Broadway or the West End perform those roles much better. And the same thing with the adaptation of Phantom of the Opera. Gerard Butler is a phenomenal actor, but should he have been Phantom? I don't think so. So to answer that, it'd probably have to be like Hello Dolly or the Cinderella adaptation with Leslie Ann Warren as Cinderella, or even the Brandy production with Brandy and Whitney Houston was really good. I'm trying to think of what other adaptations. The original adaptation of Music Man with Robert Preston and was it Shirley Jones played Marion the Librarian, I think. That one was really good. The one with Kristen Chenoweth is really good. I love Kristen Chenoweth. I just don't see Matthew Broderick as Harold Hill. That being said, that adaptation of Music Man was really good. I hate to see what they do with it if they redid it again. I'm not holding my breath over the Wicked adaptation that's rumored that it's supposed to be coming out this next year.
Right.
I'm excited that they're finally doing it, but I'm not holding my breath that it's going to be anything great, just because the last few film adaptations of musicals have not been good. I mean, they did Cats, and they CGI'd the shit out of the entire show. And I haven't even brought myself to watch it yet, and that's one of my favorite musicals. Why do you need to CGI that? And the other thing I don't get is I understand that you can only be nominated for, I think it's the Grammys, if you have a new song in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need to add anything to a show that's already perfect. Like Phantom, you did not need to add Learn to Be Lonely just so that you can get a Grammy Award. Like, when you start adding things for the explicit purpose of being able to be nominated for an award, I think it's stupid. Like, Hairspray was already good before they added whatever song it was they added for the movie version with that John Travolta in it. And Into the Woods was great, or not Into the Woods, Les Mis, was great before they added that song with Valjean in the coach singing a lullaby to Cosette. Like, you didn't need that. It was fine without it. And the other thing I can't stand is when they change the plot around.
Yeah,
when it's perfectly in order the way it is, and then they decide, oh, we're going to make a movie. Let's change the entire order of plot. It's just not okay. Like, I don't understand. And it's not that it's not okay. Sometimes it's done well. But what's the reason behind it? Like, why? Why do you do it? Anyway, that's my rant for today.
Rant with a diamond.
Moving on. Oh, what's your favorite film adaptation? You didn't answer that yet. Sorry.
You know, they're rough. I can tell you I was extremely let down with Into the Woods. But I don't know, there's a love-hate relationship with film adaptations. I really enjoy that they are bringing the musical theater genre to more of the mainstream and kind of exposing it to more people that may not be able to experience it or see it, you know, in parts of the world. But yeah, so like I can appreciate the fact that Les Mis was done so that people can see that story. But whenever you're in the arts, it kind of slaps you in the face sometimes with some of the choices and things. But two different worlds, you know.
And why do we need 1,800 Hollywood celebrities in a show to make it popular? Like, if you want it to be good, then, you know, there's Broadway. Hire those actors. They're great actors, and they can do the show just as good as a Hollywood actor. They may not have the name that a Hollywood actor has, but why not give someone their Hollywood break in a film adaptation of a musical?
Right.
Like, why do we need 1,800 stars who've been in 1,800 movies and had 1,800 chances to make it big just for the sake of making profit? Like, let's not be greedy. Let's produce quality over quantity, guys. Right. Like, just okay. Now I'm done with my rant.
But to answer the question, I would actually probably say Phantom. I enjoy, and I know, but you see, I'm coming from sad fact. I went to see Phantom of the Opera on Broadway for the first time when I was in junior high school, one of the two. And it was on a school trip. It was like the second day we were there, and we were all tired and sleep deprived. I fell asleep during it. I found it extremely boring. And then when the movie came in through, I was like, oh yeah, like, give it another shot. Then when I saw the new touring production of it, oh, it was phenomenal. I loved it. So I think that's why I enjoyed the film adaptation, is just because it was the first time I actually saw the show and I actually liked it. But I'm going to move on before
it's not the show's fault that you
true,
were tired when you went to see it.
No, it's true. It's true.
You can fall asleep in anything if you're tired enough.
Are there any musicals you saw and hated?
Professional productions or...
Yeah. For the show's sake, not necessarily for...
Okay, for the show itself, yeah. I have yet to see a show I haven't enjoyed as far as the content of the show itself. Now, the production value, right. I did see a high school production of Phantom once. I've seen 2 high school productions of Phantom because the rights are only out for high schools and colleges to perform. So I've seen 2 high school productions. One was very good, Broadway quality, amazing sets, costumes there. Their actors were great, except the guy who played Phantom, who his mic was cutting in and out, so he ended up having a hissy fit off stage in the middle of the main title theme with his mic on, yelling at the stage manager. And so you just hear him cutting in and out while Christine is singing Up in the Stratosphere at the end of the main title theme. That being said, he was a good actor other than being shit to the stage manager and, you know, being a diva about his mic acting up. Like, mic problems happen. Like, get over it. Just keep performing. They'll get it fixed. They already know it's cutting in and out. Just give them some time. Anyway, but other than that, that production was amazing. But then I saw this other high school production that, now don't get me wrong. I'm all about giving people the opportunity to do things that they wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to do before. Or get the opportunity to do anywhere else. But you do not put a first-year violinist as your first-year violin player in your pit for Phantom of the Opera. That score is not easy to play one bit. And I'm all about, like, giving people the experience of playing in a pit and things like that, but you also want to set your musicians and your cast up for success. So don't put them in a position or a role that they cannot handle. And so my ears were like bleeding for 2/3 of the production because this violinist couldn't play anything in tune, especially the really fast string heavy parts. And the sets for that production were awful. All of the magic of the show didn't happen. The only thing that happened was they raised a chandelier and dropped it successfully, and that's because they spent their entire budget on renting a chandelier from Vegas and had it professionally installed in their high school auditorium for the show, and that was professionally operated by professionals. I don't even remember how much money they spent on it, but they spent every dime they had on the show on the chandelier. Their singers weren't great. They weren't even good. Their Christine did not have the range to sing the role. Their Phantom was probably the best part of the show, and he could sing really well, but he could not convince anyone that he was attracted to Christine in the slightest. So if you work with high schoolers or community theater people, all I ask is that you pick shows that showcase the talent that you have as best as you can. And set your cast and crew and pit and everything up for success. Don't give them something that they're not ready for. Don't give them something they can't handle, because you want to entertain your audience and you want your audience to come back. You want people to enjoy the production, and you don't want to give people a bad experience to where they don't want to come back and see another show, where they don't want to enjoy theater again, where they prefer a film adaptation over a live performance. Films and movies are great. I have an extensive movie collection. I own a crap ton of film adaptations of musicals, and I enjoy watching them. But I would definitely prefer seeing a live performance over a film adaptation any day. End of rant.
I was finishing this drink. Yes, I have walked out of a show. Mine wasn't anything to do with performer or anything like that. That was just my taste. I had season tickets to see shows at a theater, and I went down to see Dreamgirls, and that was just not a show for me. Loved the music of that decade, but it was not a show that kept my attention or that I really cared for. I mean, I appreciate it, and they did wonderful. But the set was pretty cool, you know, but it was just not the story that I wanted to hear that day. So I left at intermission. With that said, what's a show that's overrated? I think we both can kind of agree.
I think Cats is underrated.
Okay.
Overrated. What's a show that's overrated? You answer this one first. I need to think.
very unpopular opinion, Hamilton. Maybe I'm too hipster in the fact that I just am not a huge fan of things that are all the media craze, but I wasn't a fan of history in school. I don't necessarily want to mash it up to hip hop and go from there.
As of right now, I'd have to agree. I think the concept of Hamilton is great. I think the fact that they're using new styles of music to reach out to a broader audience is great. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda is a very talented writer. I have not personally seen the show. I have listened to the soundtrack, and it's not the genre of music I would choose to listen to if I'm driving in my car or like taking a walk with the AirPods in or something down by the river. But it's not something I can sing along to. It's not a genre. Hip hop rap is not a genre that I enjoy listening to when it's not in a musical, and so it's not the genre I like listening to. That being said, I refuse to make a valid opinion of the show until I see it live. So I don't have anything against the show other than it's just not something that it's not the soundtrack I'm gonna put on in my car. I do want to see it. I think the fact that it's turning people on to musical theater is great, and I greatly appreciate all that show has to offer, both for the musical theater community as well as for the history of musical theater. But if I have to pick between going to see that on Broadway and going to see Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, you sure as hell can bet I'm going to pick Phantom of the Opera. Enough said.
All right.
Let the hate mail begin.
So I think we've almost hit an hour and a half, 2 hour mark on this. So let's wrap it up. We're gonna finish up this section, and but last topic. Let's kind of close it with something almost a little too real. Why is musical theater important, or what would we do without it?
That's really hard to answer without getting, for lack of a better term, political. Or without giving another hour of content. But musical theater is very important. You have kids that they're not sports. They're not interested in sports. They're not athletes. They don't want that for their life. And you have kids that need something else to look up to other than an athlete. And musical theater offers everything that sports does. It offers athleticism in dance, and it offers muscle training in singing. In order to sing properly and withstand singing some of the shows that they have out there, like Phantom or Les Mis or some of those other vocally demanding shows, it takes just as much practice, just as much energy, just as much hard work as it does as learning a sport. And on top of that, it gives people the opportunity to be something other than themselves for 10 minutes. If you are yourself all the time, you never really can reflect it yourself. And in theater, you can be the most yourself and not be you all at the same time. It gives you a creative outlet. It gives you a place where no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, it's okay to be you, and it's okay to not be you. It gives... I was the person that when I was in school, I didn't want to go to my regular classes. I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't feel that I needed my chemistry class or my algebra or my trigonometry class like, I didn't need the knowledge from that to be successful in the field I wanted to pursue. I didn't need those classes to be successful in any of my backup options. So why waste my time in those classes when I could be practicing piano or practicing singing or choreographing for show choir or doing this, that, or the other thing? And so to me, a lot of my general ed classes in high school were a waste of my time. I already had the basic knowledge I needed to get through life, so why not focus on my career? I know people who, without theater, they would be lost. I have a student that just started college this last year that got a scholarship from the community theater I'm now running. And if it wasn't for the theater program at the school, their essay for the scholarship was that without theater, they would not be here today. They struggled with depression and had some suicidal thoughts. And so if it wasn't for theater, they wouldn't have found a place where they felt they could belong. And that is why theater and the arts in general are so important, because if we focus only on sports, then what about the people who don't like sports? What about the people who need another niche to find themselves, to fit in, to belong? That's why I do what I do, because I give people that safe space, that sanctuary to be themselves and to have someone who cares, to have a creative outlet, and all of those things that we all need as humans. Anyway, that got deep real fast. What about you, Austin? What's your opinion on that?
Same. It's just in black and white. Theater came about from storytelling, and I think it's important to tell stories of the unheard, and musicals and everything give an opportunity for things to be related in another form. And so I think it raises voices for people to be heard and opportunities. It's great. Yeah. With that, I think we've pretty much hit the end of the list. And I think we're pretty much done here.
Okay. Is there anything else about yourself, Austin, that you'd like to share with my subscribers?
Yeah, sure. Come on over, check out my YouTube channel, Austin Rhodes Arts. We'll put it in the card popping up right now. I don't have a lot open right now. I'm kind of busy with teaching school. However, my YouTube channel is kind of a smorgasbord of everything. I have kind of taken on the challenge this new year to expand my horizons and do all the art forms. So I've recently gotten into iPad art, and I filmed an ASMR video, and I just want to kind of dabble in all of the content. And so come check it out, come hang out with me. We'll have some good conversations and it'll be good. Otherwise, give a like and subscribe to my guy Diamond here. He works hard at diamond painting, and we always talk about content for him to put out for you guys.
With all that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for joining us on this couples whip and chat, and we greatly appreciate it. So like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, stay tuned for further videos, hit the bell to be notified when I post. I'm going to try to get some more videos recorded and uploaded here in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming your way. And let's give Austin Rhodes a big round of applause for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for doing this with me, babe.
Of course.
So check out his Instagram and his YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Like and subscribe to this video. And stay safe, be nice, love one another, and sparkle and shine like Guy Diamond.
Bye.
Bye, guys.